Shop techs. Well, kind of hard to be a shop tech. Back in the old days, being on location, usually with a camera, Nagra, sound recorder, mics. It was just simple. You have a little mic out, plugs into that thing, sits on a little boom, and that's what you have. Nowadays, everybody's wired with a wireless and earpieces, and you have multi-cameras, and that multi-cameras you are attached to multi-computers, and you have to make sure everything works, because it's very expensive to having all those people on a location and something doesn't work. That is a real problem. You almost need a technical genius along with you. The other night at a meeting, I brought my laptop, this thing, and somebody else had to have their laptop there, and the speaker had their laptop there, and the speaker's laptop decided not to work. Okay, so the main laptop is tied into everything, Zoom. All the sound equipment is going into that. So he needed a laptop. Hey, that's why I carry a laptop with me. But in the old days, that thing was too. You almost had to make sure everything worked before you went out. Even though you took it out of a rental house, you had to make sure that you're responsible for it. When we were trained to be cameramen on different cameras, Niagara being, not Niagara, yeah, Niagara? Yeah, Niagara would be the sound equipment, but REBLs, even a little Bolex camera as a backup. Well, what do you mean a Bolex camera? A little, you carried extra film with you, but it's only 3 minutes. But of course, you had for REBL was a 400 foot, 12-minute roll of film. Boy, I'm glad we got into video. Oh, I'm glad we got into video. And that was another problem too. You almost had to have 2 video cameras in case one failed. And people say, well, what do you mean in case one fails? It's a piece of electronics. You checked it out. When you took the old thing, when I took out an REBL, I was with the technician, because on one Sunday morning, a Niagara failed. Oh, so it was rented from Jack Barron's, and I called Jack Barron's. I says, "Oh, Jack, can I ask a favor of you?" And he brought one over. Yeah. Well, why would he do that? Well, because you really, at that time, you really became when they needed help, you were there to help. When I needed help, Jack Barron showed up. That's what things were in those days. Rental houses always had people. You knew everybody in the rental houses because you're the one that's going to be renting their equipment, some specialized pieces of equipment. Today you have technicians out there going on location for a concert, handling the front of the house equipment. Am I well versed on on the type of stuff, well, there's so many front of the house lighting boards and sound equipment and that thing, but you have the general concept of how everything is done. But I'm an old man now. A lot of the newer stuff is, well, I know something about it. I've handled it before, but that was years ago. Now the wireless mics and the earpieces from Shure, you almost have to take classes with the people who rent this stuff. They say, well, what do you mean take classes? Well, things go wrong. You're out there with a microphone, a wireless microphone. If I'm in a school, that's not a problem. But if I'm on location at a concert and my wireless mics are interfering with the security, it's like it's on the same frequency. It can't be on the same frequency. So you have multi-frequency microphones and receivers, and you don't want signals. It's something like going to a football game. I'm listening to that football coach giving out commands. Think if I was a rival team, but I'm listening to a coach giving out commands on a football team. Yes. Wow. If I was a betting man. But things do change. The technology changes all the time. I have to be, if I'm on location with somebody today, and I can't go along because I have somewhat of a skill level as a shop tech. I know something about lighting. Okay, I know something about microphones. Maybe I know a lot about microphones, but it helps. And you really will have to be trained. It's something like having a church. Okay, you need a shop tech inside that church if it's a mega church, and you got mega churches that have front of the house boards, handling all the lighting equipment. Then you have the sound meter, and then you have the multi wireless mics, and you don't want to, which are all separate, expensive, yes. On location, well, one of the nice things about video, this is it. Okay, this is a close-up, and then you got this down here, and then you have the full thing. And one nice thing about video is that you can repeat. I don't like that take. Let's do it again. Something goes wrong. Okay. Well, we got this microphone on a cord. Yes, we can plug it in this way, or we got one of these that happens to go into Windows 10, okay, or Windows 11, I think, where we can plug it in with a USB port, or we can plug it in the other way too. Well, no, we can't. Not on the newer computers. They don't have the little microphone input. They only have the ear thing, which is bad. You mean I just spent $2,000 for a workstation, and which I am going to buy? Yeah. Well, it's going to be a used workstation, but a lot better than this little thing I got in front of me. Is this good? Well, it's running Windows 10, and there's a camera up there, but it's maybe 5 years newer than this one I have here. Yeah, but as I said, you need a shop tech. And last night, as I said, the speaker's laptop didn't work. So mine did. And she's oh, he's very sorry. That's okay. There's always a backup. You always have backup. People don't understand about backups. Backups and backups and backups. You can always you always bring fresh batteries with you. Oh yeah. Have you ever had that experience? Yes, I have. That the batteries died. Why didn't you it's like, oh my God, the battery's dead, and you quickly have to change batteries. Oh my goodness gracious. Does it make me look like a fool? Yes. And something like having frequency. Oh, we got a frequency problem here. No, Richard. Your battery died. Boy, oh boy. I didn't change the batteries. Oh my goodness. Maybe I covered my little butt by saying, "Oh, it must be the frequency. Let me do this frequency. We're interfering with somebody, some police station or taxi cab or something like that." So I pull out the old batteries and put new batteries in there. Having to remember 1,000 things. You got a checklist, don't you? Yes. But you did, didn't you? Yes, I did change batteries. What did you do? I put in the old ones. Ooh. So now what do I do when the production's over with? I take out all the batteries and I throw them away. But that's costly. Yes, it is costly. Yes. I make sure these batteries are marked, junk. Throw them away. But you have to go and buy new batteries. Yes. Every day, new batteries. And that's one of your little add-ons, and you're doing production work. New batteries for everything. Yes. Keep the Duracell company happy. But when you have done something stupid in the past, you don't want to do it again. It's the lighting equipment. You have a couple backups. I got a couple backups for these lights here, in case something goes wrong. These are LEDs. Anything can go wrong on them. One of them, or the whole bank of these things, roll of these things, could fail. So you have the backups. They're expensive, yes, but you're expensive with egg on your face, or a director who screams at you, or the bottom line, you're not called the next time. I like to be called ever so often. I like to used to be called everything off. Like basically when quartz lights were there, you have extra quartz lights. And they were $30 a bulb. But you brought in extra quartz lights. And somebody wanted his head. I plugged in one time into an outlet, standard outlet in a wall. I plugged it in, my low light in, 1,000 watt low light, a tote light. I plugged it into a wall, and it went pop. Oh, it's end of life. So I change bulbs, plug it in, turn it on, pop. Something wrong? Yes. That outlet was a 240, not a 120. That thing was for an air conditioning. Wrong type of plug. That's $30 a bulb. $60. That's when came out of my pocket. You know, it's all those spares you have to have with you. It's like having spare batteries. All these little spares, you know, shop techs always have these they have their little kits in there, you know, they look basically a tool kit, you know, all those little extra spares you have to carry with you, just in case something goes wrong. But, you know, new batteries, you put new batteries in the all the microphones, right, transmitter receivers, but you always have spares just in case one of those were manufactured wrong. Yes, and I've had that problem, but it's all the new stuff. Yes, but they drain fast. Something wrong. Well, I have a chance. I can go back to the rental house and I say, seems to be something wrong with this one, and they say, okay, well, let's see what's wrong with it. That's one of the nice things about being rental houses. They will bend over backwards to make sure everything is okay. And hey, between the tech guy and myself, you know, it stays in family. We don't say anything. But boy, have I screwed up in the past. And you learn by your mistakes, but it can be costly mistakes, especially if you got a very big band sitting out there, and you're required to make sure everything works, and somebody in there happens to have a microphone that's on the same frequency as everybody on that stage. You know, the little guy who decides that he's going to interfere with things. The singers are singing and they start getting psst, psst, psst. And you hear that and saying, somebody has a microphone. Yeah, people are nasty. You think people don't do that? Oh, you better know it, they do that. They interfere with signals. And then you try to track the person down. How do I know? How would I ever know things like that? Especially around politicians. Okay. I'm on the same frequency as the politician. Beep, beep, beep. The guy has a lisp, and he's broadcasting live. But that's a different. Oh, I think I've said enough about myself. Just don't make stupid mistakes.